I guess we're recording. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is DJ Keo, and this is episode 5. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, wait a minute. What happened to the podcast from last week? What the hell happened to that? Funny story. Um, I recorded that 3 times, and I was like, you know what? Episode 4 is cursed, so we're gonna allow it right now. Um, I'll run through really quickly. I recorded episode 4. Flawless. It was phenomenal. And I'm not just talking out of my ass here. It was phenomenal. I went in, I put my foot into that podcast and I edited it, got everything, nice and polished, cleaned up. And Friday last week, I was ready to upload it and I loaded into Premiere so I can do the animation for YouTube. And the file was corrupted. So I'm like, oh, get out of here. And the funny part about it is that the file was encrypted in just a way so nothing was salvageable from it. I spent I think a good 12, 13 hours. I'm legitimate 12, 13 hours trying to repair the waveform and trying to at least salvage some aspect. And this is the wild part. So the file was corrupted in such a way that it covered there was a space. It would be like 20 minutes fine and then a gap of like 4 minutes. And then 20 minutes, 15 minutes fine, and then another gap of like 6 minutes of just dead air. And then 20 minutes would be fine. So like the weird part about it was all of the gaps and all the spaces were in the places that it wouldn't seamlessly at least have one solid topic that I could go, okay, this is the whole topic here from beginning to end, no interruptions, whatever. I couldn't do that. It was half of the beginning was cut off and the important tidbits explain the topic and the ending was cut off. The whole podcast that happened in 5 or 6 places. So completely unusable. So I wasted a whole day on that and I was just demoralized. I'll put it like that. I was demoralized. And then on Sunday, I recorded the Behind the Groove podcast. Shout out to Basil. And Sunday night, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna power through. I'm gonna record this thing. Sunday night, I recorded it. Little less fire, a little less foot on this thing, little less foot on the neck of the podcast. Not as good. Not as good. Couldn't duplicate the magic. So I was like, I was listening. While I was doing it, I was listening to. I was like, this is not that good. So I said, screw it. I'm not gonna put that out. So I'm gonna do it again. And then the third time, I was like, third time's a charm. It's gonna be nope, trash, absolute trash. So last week was a write off. I was like, this thing's cursed. We're just gonna move on. So technically, this will be episode 4. Also, too, I was I went a little too raw. I know it's the Raw and Uncut podcast, but I was like, this is a little bit too raw. So I had to tone that down a little bit. So this is episode 4 asterisk 5. And we're just gonna keep moving like that. So first topic of today, and I thought this was interesting because I have another topic about this band called Portishead. I'm a huge fan of Portishead. It's it's like this merger of folk music with turntablism and like hip hop and just I don't know, like there's something about it I just love. I just zone out and vibe out to their music, but I wouldn't call myself like a super fan. I'm just like I like the I have physical albums for these people. I bought this is a lot. This is how old I am. I bought the cassette tapes to this group, right? And then my brother-in-law put me on to them. But that's not the point. I'm gonna get to the second thing with them in a second. But I don't think of myself as like some super trip hop fan or whatever. I just like them. And what's See, like, I'm blanking out on other groups right now. Like, just that's how like I just like them. That's it. That's all I care about. Portishead. I didn't like the third album that much though. I'll be truthful. But Dummy and Portishead, I love those two albums. Great. Spectacular. I still listen to them to this day. Anyways, my point is, and this is why that got me thinking about this in the first place, is that there's this survey that was done with EDM fans, and they believe, most fans that listen to EDM music believe that you're not a real fan unless you know at least 12 songs of an artist, and then you can wear their shirt unironically. I was thinking about this for a bit. I was like, I don't think a lot of people are fans of artists anymore like we used to be. Like, I have my record wall, and I've been going back and buying particular albums of stuff, like just albums that I liked. And there's no rhyme or reason. I go to a record store, I see an album I like, I'll just buy it. And then I have 12 inches and, you know, DJ vinyl. But there's a section on the wall that's just albums, that just stuff I like. I've never really looked at myself as a super fan. I would never get a tattoo of an artist. I've been to only a couple concerts. Honestly, I've been to what, LL Cool J. I did the Hard Knock Live concert. That concert was great. I seen Kanye and Jay-Z perform a couple times. Um, I'm a I'm a '90s hip hop head. Like, just to be honest, like that's I love '90s hip hop. But so like those kind of artists, I've seen. I've seen Tribe and De La perform a bunch of times, but there's only a couple groups that I'll be like, all right, I'm a super fan for De La Soul and Tribe Called Quest. I could, I'll go to toe with anybody talking about their music and that kind of stuff. And I would also extend that a little bit to LL Cool J, but not everything. I got my reasons. I'm a huge fan of Nerd, or Pharrell and Chad. I'm a huge fan of them. Wu Tang, that kind of stuff. Like, I buy albums from Wu Tang. Like, I like Wu Tang, but there's only a few groups. Jay Z and Nas, I would say, but like there's only a few people that I could go, like, just trivia, albums, songs on albums, remixes, unreleased material. There's only a few people that I could actually talk like that. For the most part, I just listen to music that I like. If I like an album, that's cool. Other than that, I don't really stress at people. Like, I used to be like that. I think when I was younger, I definitely was more about, you're not a real fan. You don't like, I used to do that. I used to, I was a big Jay-Z stan. I got into arguments with people about Jay-Z and Biggie. That's how big of a Jay-Z fan I was. I have one of the first pressings of Dead Prez, like the original vinyl. And it had like the snippets of his album on from his first album, Reasonable Doubt. It had the snippets of that. It was like just like half a minute of songs on the B side, and then just the original the remix to Dead Prez, not the original version. It's the remix, but like it's original pressing for the thing. It's confusing jumble of mess, but um yeah, there's only a few people that I would say like, yo, I was in it. I was in it like that. But I couldn't today for music, I am not that kind of demanding, oh, you're not a fan of, like, I'm not that anymore. And I think that as a DJ, my music, once I got out of just playing hip hop and R&B and like a tiny bit of reggae and a tiny bit of soca. Once I moved beyond that to dance music, house, electro house, Punjabi music, Hindi music, like once I started like just merengue, like the whole 9 yards of everything to get people to dance. I think I stepped back from being like a super fan. I think it's more of a my taste in music expanded, but my barrier of entry for what I qualify as fan also it kind of lowered. The bar was lowered. But like I don't know. I don't personally feel that attached to the artist like I used to be. Like I used to buy the vinyl and then put the headphones on and listen to an album and I'm flipping through the liner notes. I need to know who the engineer was who mixed the song. I need to know what studio they went to. You know what I'm saying? Like what samples they use. Like I was that. I was way in the weeds looking at music. And now I'm more I think my taste has changed to the point now that I'm more passive. Like, is that the right word? Passive? I don't know. I'm not. I just I casually listen to music that I like. I prefer to listen to albums still, though. I will say that. But I find myself today listening to a lot of older albums than current stuff. I'll flip through it for sure just to see here's some good singles or this is a good party song or whatever. Or I'll pick out songs I think are gonna be hits down the road. But I in general I don't look at myself as that hardcore fan. And I don't know if I'm sad or come to terms with that. I gotta be honest. I don't know how I look at it now. There's the I music in general. It is more the barrier of entry is lower because of streaming platforms. So especially today, like I'll hear something on the radio and then I'll flip the title, whatever, and just download their album. And now I got their album. Now I'll listen to it a couple times if I like it. I may even play the songs or something, but the barrier of entry for me to listen to music is so low now. And I think that expands to most people who listen to music today. People in general don't know the names of songs. They just know it goes like "Du-du-du-du," like that's how the as far as it goes for a lot of people. They don't know the name of the song, what album it came from. It's just this thing that popped up. It was on a TikTok, and I put it in my playlist, and then that's the end of that. And your song comes on. You're not looking at it to know who did what. You don't even know who the features are. Like it's just, the barrier of entry is so low. It's kind of wild when you think about it, about how people look at music. But the thing is, too, there's genres of music where they're still strict about it. And I would say EDM is one of those things, especially because it's so diverse and there's so many different branches of what it is. Do you count jungle and drum and bass as EDM? I mean, I guess technically you do, but the people who listen to drum and bass and jungle and that kind of stuff, completely different from electro house and dance music, whatever. And I think too that dance music it got really popular when you had like soccer moms and and wine moms, or no, wine aunts. That's the term. They're listening to dance music. Like, I like dance music. Like, do you know? Like, do you really? But like, the barrier of entry is so low. I blame Pitbull and Flow Rider and all these people because everybody was popping out dance tracks, man, for late 20 late 2000s, early 2010s. Dance music was popping. Everybody had a dance song. Everybody. So like the barrier of entry was just like Pitbull, Pitbull's dance music. But is he though? And David Guetta and Tiesto and all these people, like this, that's dance music. But I don't know. I'm more of a Oliver Heldens kind of dance music. But like this, That's like the electro. That's a different thing. But yeah, man, I don't know. Barrier entry is different. I I get what they're saying about knowing the songs before you can wear the shirt because people wear shirts for like Grateful Dead and I'm like, what's the Grateful Dead? I don't know. I just got a shirt like that. There's a lot of people like that. They're like, I don't know. It's just a shirt. They have no idea what the band is or what any of their songs. I see that a lot of Pink Floyd stuff. I'm like, have you listened to a Pink Floyd album? There's a lot of people that just have like that prism thing with the lights coming out of it. And if you know music, that's oh, it's Pink Floyd. But people they just got the shirt. They think it's cool. I don't I don't think this applies to Wu Tang though. I gotta be I do not think this applies to Wu Tang. I think if somebody's got a Wu Tang shirt, they're putting the W's up, they support Wu Tang. That's the type of thing that don't front on don't be a why not and you got a Wu Tang shirt on and you don't know what protect your neck means. Like, yeah, don't do that. But yeah, I think there's certain things that like it's just obvious. Like, oh no, we don't play here. But yeah. So let's talk about Portishead real quick. And it's the reason why I looked at this article in the first place about the fans. But Portishead is one of the first major artists that is using the SoundCloud thing. I talked about this before. Streaming services are a Ponzi scheme. They do not generate any revenue for anybody unless you're the top of the pyramid superstar, like a Drake or a Rihanna or Britney. Free Britney, by the way, but like one of these kind of artists, you're not seeing any money, any real money out of Spotify or whatever. And Tidal was formed on the basis of Spotify and YouTube and all this other stuff is not paying people correctly. So like that's the whole reason Tidal exists. Or that's the reason that Jay-Z sold Tidal to people, to the masses. But it's a Ponzi scheme. Nobody makes money from it. If you don't have a huge fan base and a lot of streams, you're not going to see a check for a long time out of Spotify. And it's the same for all the other ones too. It is not unique to Spotify. They get the bad rep because they're the biggest, but this is not unique to them. But I digress. So SoundCloud rebranded itself and basically is making money right now. And the biggest factor for why is the SoundCloud Go thing. They've made it so that more money is going back to the artists and the people who support SoundCloud. And I respect that so much. And I that's why I made a video about it initially when it was announced. So Portishead is one of the first groups that are going to be using it. And they put out a song, I think the song's called SOS. And the song's doing pretty good. And I think the money that they're going to raise from the song is going to go to a charity for mental health, which I support fully, 110% on that. Yeah, I think this is a good thing here. I like the streaming services for what they are, but I don't like how they treat artists, and I don't like how it's not really designed for new people or people who are not established to be successful. People tell you, "Oh, just pay for ads, and you're gonna see." No. There's a system in place from the record companies and the powers that be that control when you see songs on these platforms, and it is not beneficial to small artists. It is not. If you have to hustle and grind on a way outside of just depending on I launched some music on this streaming service. Yeah, you're better off, selling CDs or vinyl or something or T-shirts. But you're better off selling something versus just leaving it up to Spotify to make somebody see your songs. It's not. It's the system's designed for you not to be successful. Put it like that. The system's designed for everybody to be on it, and then some people benefit. And that is a whole topic for another time, but I thought this was interesting that Portishead was at least supporting this in a way that helps smaller artists. Like more people need to use it the way it's intended so that better people eat. Just the way the system is designed, rather than the Ponzi scheme way of everybody contributes to the thing and your $9, it doesn't go proportionally to the music that you played. It goes to the pot and the pot goes to the bigger artists. This way, the money that you paid for whatever the fee is, I forgot what the number is, but whatever the fee is, the money out of your fee goes directly to the artist at a higher rate. And that's really cool. And I support this kind of stuff. We need more of that. Speaking of music, that's a segue. We got to talk about this Doomsday Vault. Yeah, last year and this year has put things in perspective in a way I think a lot of people didn't think possible. It's been so messed up. And I think that people, at least in the beginning, start to appreciate things better. I'll put it like that. So there's this vault. I can't remember where it is. It's like in it's some place like that, like in Norway or something like that. That is, they put seeds in there, and it's like a doomsday thing. If the world goes to the crapper, at least all this stuff won't go extinct. They have rare fruit and whatever. They got seeds there, so that's the hope. And this Norwegian company decide they're going to catalog the world's most beloved music. And I've been thinking about this for a while. What would I save in the Norwegian Doomsday Vault for music? For, you got your fallout shelter, everything's scorched earth, and then 100 years from now, somebody discovers the vault and they're like, oh, there's music down here. Or Alien Invasion, whichever one floats your boat, whichever one you feel better. I just watched The Tomorrow World. That's a great movie. Great movie. But getting back to this thing. Yeah, I thought about like what would I put in there? I think for me, definitely I'm gonna put some 90s hip hop in there. For certain. For certain. Yeah, I definitely I would put Hard Knock Life Volume 2 in there. Like that's gotta go. That's gotta go. Tribe Called Quest, Low End Theory, and Midnight Marauders, that's gotta go in there. That has to go in there. 36 Chambers has to go in there. Damn man, I'm an old head. I would put Seeing Sounds from Nerd in there too. Business Never Personal, EPMD. I love my 90s hip hop, man. I just do. My favorite, I know this is blasphemy for Boy Down for KRS One, underground hip hop, but like my favorite album from him is Sex and Violence and Boom Bap. That dude spitting bars on the album. Like some Whitney in there. Obviously, you're gonna throw Thriller in there. Like that's just a no brainer. Maybe some like Earth, Wind, and Fire or something like that. Ohio Players. Getting in the weeds now. It's a lot of old music that I would throw in there. Not so much new music. I think when it comes to new music, I don't think people make albums anymore. It's more like compilations. These are just a bunch of songs, random songs. Definitely Kanye's got to go in there. Dark Beautiful Fantasy's got to go in there. I don't care. Listen, I don't care what you think about Kanye as a person, but Kanye has some fire albums, and I would say like the first 5 albums from him have to go in the vault. I don't care. Fight me. I'll see you on the corner. I'll fight you on that. All right, straight up. I don't care. Damn. There's a lot of stuttering here. I got, whew. Like I was thinking about it before, but like to be, put me on the spot. Like just, this has to go in there. Super selfish. And it's the stuff I like. Whew. I would definitely have Portishead in there. Gotta throw Prince. Parade. Whew. Love that album. Parade was fire. You have to save some albums. It's the end of the world. This is all you're gonna get. What are you gonna save? And off the top of my head, I'm like, it's like a lot of '90s hip hop and stuff. But you think about today with music, people don't listen to albums the same way. It's more like individual songs. So basically, from the internet era, I always say 2006, 2007 on, when Napster's going heavy, Kazaa's going heavy. Like people definitely started just listening to individual songs more than they used to before. So music wasn't as quality for like an album. For me, it's not enough to just have a couple songs. Oh, Black Sheep, a wolf in sheep's clothing got to go in there. That has to go in there. But like for me, there's a lot of songs and a lot of artists that I like today, but I'm talking from beginning to end, all 13, 15 songs from an album. Like De La Soul, 3 Feet High and Rising has to go in. Like that has to. Like that's a pivotal album for my music journey. Like 110% the album's got to go in there. Oh man. Oof. Fly or Die from Nerd. I love the album too, but I really, oh man, I'm gonna draw this out more in the podcast, but like I really, it is now it's bothering me. When you think about it, it's really bothering me. Like there's not a lot of new albums in the last decade that I would be like, the world is ending. I have to save this right now, and be like, well, we gotta save this out. File this away for future generations from now. They gotta hear this. There's not a lot. And if you really put your like just really thought about it, I don't know. It's not the numbers today is not strong. Now, there's a lot of indie music that just slips under the rug, and somebody's screaming right now, listen to this. Like, you idiot, this album came out, whatever, and this is better than whatever. Okay, but everybody's got that different experience where they hear different music, then it affects them differently. Like, for me personally, there's certain albums that like they just hit me in a different spot. And yeah, I I'm I really gotta. I think I need to spend more time. You know what? What I'm gonna do? I'm gonna post like my songs on Twitter, and I guess we'll revisit this topic. I'll put it like that. Previously in podcast number 4 that isn't aired, I talked about Ibiza and how they're opening up and they're allowing people into the island off the coast of Spain. If you're not familiar with, dance music capital for everybody, they got to go there and party. All the big DJs are there. They got residencies. It's a big thing in the summer. Um, there's a lot of fear for a long time, thinking that Ibiza wasn't going to open. And I think that real talk, I think they looked at the numbers like, oh no, it's got to open. Like we've got to do something about this. So I think that's why they're like, screw it, we're gonna go through anyway. So they got a variant of a variant. Loki's out there, and so things are getting super complicated now. They're starting to put restrictions because they were trying to do initially when they talked about opening the island. They were like, this is gonna be beer virus free, pandemic free. You have to come in here with your vaccine, or you have to prove you got the shot, and then you can't come here with the thing. And I was like, I don't know. I, I talked about this before. I don't know if I talked about this publicly, but I am not against the vaccine or anything like that. And I've talked about, at least on my YouTube channel, like I believe COVID is real and all this other stuff. Like I believe personally. Now, do I believe that there's people who are taking advantage of the situation? Yes, absolutely. 110%. And I think the people taking advantage of it have made this thing worse. I definitely believe that. But as far as like, oh, it doesn't exist, no, I believe it exists. I believe it's real. My issue with the vaccine passport thing, and this is probably going to be controversial, but I think it's ineffective. It doesn't, as it stands right now. Okay, think about it like this. You have a place, right? And you give it the zombie rules. A lot of times people are talking about the beer virus as this mythical thing. And look, no, we know how to. We've been watching zombie movies and things for years, all right? There's rules to zombies. You check everybody and you create a barrier around people who don't have it. The barrier. You can't come in unless we check you. Cool. Zombie rules works. Zombie rules doesn't work if there's people who are bitten who are inside the zombie free zone. And this is the problem with the vaccine passport thing. This thing doesn't work because the place you're going to still has it there. And Ibiza, with all their plans and all their testing, has a crazy outbreak right now, threatening to ruin this entire summer. Because having a passport and doing the testing, the stuff, doesn't work. Because A, you can still catch it, even if you got the shot, you can still catch it. And B, this place that you're going to that's got the strict things about you can't come in here has it still. You look at the Canadian-US border. It is completely shut down unless you fly or walk across the border. How effective is the shutdown then? It doesn't seem effective anymore. And Canada's full of sick people. Not effective. So, you can't come in here because we're trying, but the place is still shut down because there's sick people here. So you saying, hey, you gotta get this thing before you can come here is irrelevant. And this is my problem with this system. It seems to me more of a solution for a thing that doesn't work, and more and I don't want to turn into right wing DJQ or something like that because I'm fairly moderate, but like in this particular instance, I feel like brain cells have fallen out of people's heads. This is simple logic states that if there are sick people in the place that you're going, all of this stuff here is theater. I'm gonna make you do a test, and you gotta stay here in this hotel for 14 days, and then you gotta go do. I need 18 tests before you, and then you can go outside now and do all. But there's still sick people here. You doing all this extra crap to finally get free and you pass all this muster, and you walk outside and somebody coughs in your direction. Now you got it. Okay, then what? Defeating the purpose of all this extra stuff. And so I've always felt that this thing is super serious. We got to take it seriously, but also all this stuff is theater. A lot of it is theater. And you can disagree with me on that merits, and you know what? That's cool. Like I don't pretend like I'm the foremost authority on something, or I read something somewhere and I think I know better than somebody. I don't pretend to say that at all. I look like this is a moving target. People don't know exactly what's going on. Things change on the ground. If you look at what was common knowledge in January versus what is common knowledge today, things are different. A lot of things are completely different. So I could the idea that, oh, I have the answers, that's a joke. I don't pretend like I have the answers on this, but I'm just using simple logic. And if 1 + 1 is 2, if you're doing all this thing here, but there's still sick people in the place that you plan to go to, well, all this stuff is irrelevant then, isn't it? I mean, I I don't want to get in the weeds here, but I'm just saying, like a lot of stuff that people are doing right now, theater doesn't mean anything. Now, do we need to take care of ourselves so that we don't cause a strain on the health system? Because if that cracks, that's a problem. Yes, absolutely. Do what you gotta do to protect yourself and make sure you're good. But there's a lot of theater in this thing. It's a jumbo pile of theater. And the issue here is that you have politicians who have to justify their job. And the best way to justify your job is to pretend like you're doing something, whether it's useful or not. That's just a fact. So I don't know. Ibiza, they got an outbreak. I don't know how bad it's gonna be. They're saying, hey, you can only party from 8 o'clock to um 9:30. You can't sell alcohol between 9:30 and 8 a.m. And this is what I'm talking about. How is drinking alcohol going to make you less safe from catching this thing? These are stupid things that are put in place to quote unquote look like they're doing something. These are not things smart people who went to the top of their class and they're great forward thinkers didn't come up with this stuff. This is middle management, somebody in a back office somewhere is like, quick, gotta do something. All right, don't drink alcohol at 9 o'clock on a party island. What? Like they're gonna drink anyway. I mean, this is asinine. This is like going to like high schoolers in grade 12 and be like, don't you get drunk. Don't go to a party. Like, all right, cool, 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 cool. Like, no, stop. It's the whole point of people going to Ibiza is to go to a party. They are gonna find a way. Jurassic Park, life finds a way. Life is going to find a way. So this thing about, oh, you can't drink and not, this is stupid. And this is the kind of stuff I see all the time. It drives me crazy because none of this stuff makes any sense. And I'm not going to go super conspiratorial about it, but I'm just saying, like, when you really think about it, a lot of the things that people put in place to quote unquote keep people safe doesn't do anything. It's just there to make people feel better about it. I made the analogy of the bus. Where I live, there's commercials all day about how the buses are keeping everybody safe. Now, if you just watch the commercial and you never traveled anywhere on the bus, you'd be like, man, this is great. Taxpayer dollars, they're at work here. They're getting things done. They're keeping people safe. Now, when you think about it, you're like, okay, well, they sprayed down the bus in the morning and they put Lysol and they rubbed down all the handles. And then 400 people rode this thing for for 7 hours, packed in like sardines. It is irrelevant that you sprayed the thing in the morning because you didn't spray it after everybody gets on and off the bus. You just sprayed it one time in the morning and you spray it one time at nighttime. There's a whole 7 hours of the spray not being effective. All right. I'm just saying, like, just a lot of this stuff is theater. And it drives me crazy. And I have to keep saying, like, listen, all right, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. Well, a little bit, but not in this regard. This is 100% science based on my feelings about this stuff. there's been a lot of changes in the CDC and a lot of sciencey people. Eh, to coin a term, sciencey people have made breakthroughs. There's people that came to consensus about, well, it's not a spray, it's a mist. It kind of hovers around a little bit, but it's more about tight spaces than it is wide open spaces. This is information that wasn't here in January of 2020, but now we know it. And that's why everybody's like, oh, outside's fine. Cool. But they're pretending like, no, it wasn't always fine. But that's a whole other topic. But my point is that a lot of the things that people have in place about what to do about this thing, theater doesn't help, doesn't do anything. And that's why a place like Ibiza, who's doing all these strict tests, and you can only come down there unless you got the shot, has an outbreak right now. Theater. All right. I've done a couple rants about nightlife and clubs and stuff like that, and how DJs, we got to get back to work as soon as possible. New York looks like they're trying to create a 24-hour nightclub district. And I don't know if this is a great idea, a brilliant idea, or a desperate idea. I can't say for certain. I don't know. As a DJ, I welcome 24-hour club districts. I welcome this. This is great. More DJs get to play. More spots can be open. Like, there's a lot of people in New York. Like, even with all the people fleeing to go to Florida and Connecticut and all these other places, New York still has a lot of people there. And these guys have been on the house arrest from de Blasio and Cuomo for a better part of a year and a half. So they've been definitely, New York has had a ton of underground parties, like underground raves, like 1980 something, like just straight out of a movie, underground raves. Which, I mean, it's been happening before, but like, I mean, legitimately, if you know, and that's the only way you're gonna find out where this thing is. Kind of raves for the better part of a year, full of hundreds of people next to each other, no masks, jamming. I can't say for certain if it was a hindrance, but yeah, like they've been doing it, and I think the city was like, look, might as well get paid from this thing. So it looks like they're trying to finagle some way to make this thing legitimate. So kudos to them for that. But like, just in general, if I live in a city that's locked down still, like you can't do clubs or parties yet, and if you try to do a concert, even if it's outdoors, you can sit in a car and watch a concert. That's what the city of Toronto gave the okay for you to sit in a car and listen to a concert outdoors. Stupidity, dumb. If you're outdoors, it's fine. I'm just, okay. We gotta get back to work, man. I'm not gonna do another rant, but we gotta get back to work. Like, the sooner the better. We don't have a day to waste. I did well. I read an article. Man, see, I keep talking about this podcast that doesn't exist, but I read this article in the podcast that it turned out terrible. I'm not gonna put it out, but yeah, 70% is damn near 70% of income for DJs has been lost in 2020. And with all the shutdowns and all craziness, with the 70 cents, not surprising, but that is not going to come back and be like, oh no, we're back to 100%. Everything's good now. There's going to be changes here. A lot of clubs are going to go out of business. A lot of lounges, restaurants that used to have DJs there, they're not going to be able to do that anymore. So the amount of places that you could play has diminished greatly. That's the first thing. people are gonna have to raise up their rates, so there's gonna be less work for people, and weddings have been pushed back to the stratosphere, like some hairlines. Like weddings are crazy right now because 2020 has been a wash, so people are trying to figure out how to do a wedding right now with like 13 people or whatever. So like that's a mess. But I think people were like, we can't hold off any longer. We just got to get it done. But just overall, the prospects for DJs is not good. Long term and short term, not good. I think maybe, people are going to adapt. Like in my city, they paved over the club district. We had, like 30 clubs, 20 something clubs in the area on the street, I think it's like Adelaide and King Street. There's a couple streets where it was just a district of clubs. The one street, King, they made it a bike lane and for taxis only and buses, so you can't drive down that anymore, killing the businesses in that area. The other street, there's a street north of that where there was a club district, and they paved over all the clubs and put condos. So now there's very few zoning areas in the city. I guess they made noise complaints or whatever. It's like just an excuse so they can put the condos up and make money. But there's not a lot of places to play in the city anymore. So a lot of people started doing boat cruises. People started doing just stuff with corporations or companies, that kind of stuff. Being a mobile DJ versus being a club DJ. A lot of people just built up something outside the city. And a lot of people live outside the city too, so that's a factor there. But the nightlife's supposed to be in the city. That's the heart of the city is the nightlife. And a lot of these places, I think that in a lot of these places, nightlife is dead, like just dead and not coming back. So people are going to have to adapt in new ways that you didn't think possible. I think a lot of DJs thought, well, clubs are closed up. We can't DJ in a club, so we'll just play online. But they have not been able to duplicate the revenue that you got just the average DJ at a club versus what somebody playing on Twitch or whatever some of these streams are getting. A lot of people aren't making any money from these streams, so it is kind of not worth it unless you had a big enough name to begin with, or you're just good at networking. Average people, like, look, most DJs have terrible social media, like just trash, myself included. Terrible social media, haven't built up into anything. Like they have like a couple pictures of them DJing at a club or something, and that's pretty much it. Or they got some pictures of their turntables or whatever, like that's it. But most DJs, they don't have good social medias or the skills to build it, so they can't leverage that and turn that into Twitch money. So we need places to play, and we need people to go to these places to play. I don't know, the world's changing, man. The world is really changing. We'll see what happens. I was a little bit more optimistic last month. I would say I'm lukewarm again about what's coming up. It looked like there's going to be a lot of push to make a lot of changes quickly, and it looks like it's slowed down now. And now they're talking about the Greek variants, so not coming from Greece. It's all Greek characters. They got the Delta, they got a Lambda, they got all kind of Greek characters right now. They're just throwing out Greek symbols as the new variant. So, who knows? Who knows? Anyways, you know what? Thank you for hanging in there. I know we had a lost week. That, believe me, that was not on purpose. I'm gonna be a little bit more careful and make extra copies of the podcast so this doesn't happen again. But yeah, I appreciate it. Listen, I appreciate everybody who's listening and watching and streaming this stuff online. I appreciate all you guys and gals even as like a tiny minority. But you know what? Thank you for watching all this stuff. I definitely appreciate the feedback and everything I'm getting from this. And podcast is doing pretty good, and that's without any promotion. I did the bare minimum promotion, but people are finding me, so I think that is kind of cool though. Yeah, hey, I got new mugs in the store. We got the cry mugs, cry more mugs for requests. And yeah, you can pick that up, and I'm gonna start posting those things up on the site. So yeah, you can check it out from there. Um, yeah, new shirts are coming out soon. We're gonna have the Cry More shirts too, as well, and they're extra offensive for both sides. I tried to make it as offensive as possible, so don't feel left out. And it's specifically for the DJs getting back to work. And I have another shirt for that as well coming out soon. So I'm gonna post that soon. Anyways, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening and subscribing to the podcast. Leave a like and some give a review so the podcast can get better in the algorithms. And yeah, peace out, bitches.